Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who, well, peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Ainal. The title of this video is Are All American Airports Shutting Down? Question mark. And basically, this lady, she asked that question, right? But pretty much the airports have basically missed their first paycheck or the air traffic controllers, which is important because they control, air traffic and the planes, and they're not getting paid and they're not happy about it.
Across the country were supposed to get paid today. Instead, they're getting this. Take a look at pay stubs showing $0 deposited to their bank accounts. The first full paycheck they've missed since the government shutdown began 28 days ago.
Now, as some airports are dealing with these staffing shortages, some travelers worry their own flights could be less safe.
I know that there was at least one crash out of here not too long ago, and there was an issue with the air traffic controllers then. And now that we have the government shut down, I don't think that that's made it any better.
CNN's Pete Muntean is at Reagan National Airport, right outside of Washington, D.C. And Pete, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy just...
All right, so, I wanted to play that CNN video, just a little part. I'm going to grab this real quick. This is Proverbs 1:26. It says, matter of fact, I'll start at 22, because even that one dude they just recorded. If you listen to what he's talking about, he's talking about reports of crashes, and he's just ready to still fly. That's not smart at all, with everything that's going on. But anyway, Proverbs 1:22. How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge? Turn ye at my reproof, behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you. Right. And this is only for the elect. Right. 2/3 of our people are definitely, going to be swept away in this destruction. Of course, everyone else here in America will be swept away with destruction also. It says, because I have called and ye refuse, I have stretched out my hand and no man regarded, but ye have set at naught all my counsel and with none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity. I will mock when your fear cometh. When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when discretion anguish cometh upon you. And ultimately, the final destruction will be that whirlwind, which is the nuclear missiles that Russia is going to send over here to America, right? Every day, Russia comes out with a new nuclear missile that's faster than the last one. It's the best, and they say, it's the best thing in the world, right? No one can beat it. What do you think is happening? But anyway, so we have these other nations laughing at America. She smirked a few times in the video right here.
America's airport, well, they are in chaos. And this time it's not because of any bad weather or...
You see how she said chaos?
America's airport, well, they are in chaos. And this time it's not because of any bad weather or any technical glitch. It's all because the US government has literally run out of money to pay the people who keep the skies safe. Yes, you heard that right. Air traffic controllers across the United States, they are going unpaid as the government shutdown stretches on, and it's starting to hit the air travel really hard. From New York to Los Angeles, airports are reporting massive flight delays, some lasting hours, and there are growing fear that the entire system could face a complete shutdown if things don't go better or maybe improve soon. Let's break it down what's really happening here. So the Federal Aviation Administration is struggling to keep the air traffic system running as thousands of controllers...
It's like she's almost excited to tell us the bad news.
Either they call in sick or simply cannot afford to keep showing up without any pay. Well, these are the men and the women who are managing the flight takeoffs, landing, air routes, everything. Basically, the people who are preventing the planes from crashing into each other. And now, with them missing from their post, America's air safety system is really thin. Airlines have already started cancelling or maybe delaying hundreds of flights. In fact, at major hubs like Atlanta, Chicago, or even Dallas, there are passengers who are stranded in terminals with no clear answers. Many flights are grounded not just because of any storm, but because there is nobody that is left in the control towers to guide them. The National Air Traffic Controller Association, they have sounded the alarms, warning that this is no longer about politics. It's about public safety. Their president, Nick, he said that the situation is beyond crisis mode, adding that controllers are exhausted, they are overworked, and now they are unpaid. Even Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy, he admitted that the system is under enormous strain, saying that every hour of this shutdown, it makes recovery even harder. Now, to make things worse, the shutdown has frozen training and hiring also, worsening an already dire staffing shortage. Now, for years, the FAA has struggled to recruit new controllers, and now without funding, that process has stopped completely. But you know what? Experts warn that even if government reopens tomorrow, it could take weeks or even months to the air traffic operations to return to normal.
There you go. So that's what they're saying because that's what they want. Weeks, months before things return back to normal. They don't want it normal because they want to bring forth the new world order, right? In the MOTB, right? Which is the RFID chip they will put inside your body, right? So they can have total control, right? That's the whole purpose of what's happening right now, of why things are shutting down. Not because Trump is trying to make America great again. They're switching, to a new system. That's why you're seeing all the tech guys around Donald Trump, all the tech guys being grafted into the military, high-ranking positions, right? Space Force, and all of that. So, just blowing the trumpet on that. It's breaking news. I mean, people can't fly, people can't go anywhere. This is 2 Esdras 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and the destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. So not only are people now trapped in the different cities and areas they are at, pretty soon they won't be able to get food in those cities and areas that they're at, and they have to fight for it because that's just what they're going to do. It says, for there shall be sedition among men. And what the sedition is, overthrowing of the government, basically coming against the government. And who's causing all the shutdowns, regardless of whoever you try to paint at the person that's to blame for the shutdowns. The person that has the power is the government. They're the ones ruling and controlling the world right now. It says, so if you're smart, not I'll just leave it at that. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. And the people is not smart. All right. Gross darkness to people all over. This is Isaiah 60 and 1. It says, arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the Lord Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai is risen upon thee. Right, for the elect. It says, for behold, the darkness, and even some people, are somewhat able to understand what's going on. You have regular people that see the MOTB is here, see people are already preparing, gearing up. People are buying guns. People are trying to get extra food. People are getting vehicles that can travel all terrain. They can see things are coming. But for the majority of people, in our people especially, they're not aware of the scourges, right? That's sent for amendment. This dude, I'm gonna play a video again. I'm gonna see what he said. He's talking about crashes, and he's at the airport just waiting for a plane. Whoop-de-doo, la la la. Isaiah 62. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. But the Lord Yahweh Bashim shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. So the glory will be seen upon us, and it's already seen. That's why people are waking up now. The scripture say, then shall be known that a prophet have been among you, because the things that we have been saying since the beginning are happening now. So they know who got the light, and that's why the scripture say they're gonna be looking for those people, right? Up and down searching. Even videos, brothers are throwing out videos of people. Oh, I finally find you. You was at this location one time, but you're here now. Oh my God! And then the road is crazy, ain't it? They want to hear what we got to say now, right? Verse 16, 2 Esdras 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another, They shall not regard their kings nor princes. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So these people are going to do exactly what they're thinking to do towards these officials, right? That's why Job 20 goes into the fact that when the wicked are about to fill their belly, every hand of the wicked shall come upon them. And that's exactly what's happening. That's what we're seeing, right? It says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Many reasons. You can't fly to the city. You can't drive to the city. Roadblocks, even weather, right? I mentioned in one of my videos, basically we're entering to weather. You got actual people that are, fixing the road so you can drive when it's snowing. And if they don't fix the roads, you not driving on the roads. Right? There's countless people that get stuck, snowed in. A snow come overnight, and when it comes, it's like a regular, it's like rain, whatever the case may be. Don't let it be a snowstorm. You can't drive to get gas. You stuck. No one can come to you. You can't go to them. I'm the hurricanes. The Most High Yahweh Bashmi Shah is visiting this place with tempest and storm. I'm seeing bridges collapsing, roads collapsing, floodings. You think they're trying to fix them places? No, that's another blockage of you not going nowhere. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And they got this thing in Jamaica. I'm talking about the hurricane, but these hurricanes also come to, the states. You had the one over in North Carolina where they was saying it's clearing up land so these people can go in there and get into the mines and get the resources out. And they already had these deals set in place before the storm came, and people are saying they're using weather manipulation, which is already out there. Because of what knowledge being increased, they have weather manipulation to do these certain things, so they can bring these gigantic storms in and just the trees falling on the road, and now you don't have nobody come to cut the tree up and move the stuff. And one of my previous jobs, I was working, and it was my job to do that type of stuff. Go into the streets and make sure that the streets are clear, of debris after storms and things like that, right? It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy the houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation, right? And that's where we're at. We're at great tribulation. All right, so let's look at this guy explaining what his problem is. Let's see.
I know that there was at least one crash out of here not too long ago, and there was an issue with the air traffic controllers then, and now.
Right. This dude, he's ready to go. He's saying, I know there was a crash here, but what can I do? He's got his parachute on. He got his parachute on. He's ready. All right.
That we have the government shut down. I don't think that that's made it any better.
CNN's Pete Muntean is at Reagan National Airport, right outside of Washington, D.C. And Pete, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy just spoke a short time ago. What's he saying about these staffing issues?
Not much new rhetoric from Trump Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy about a resolution to this government shutdown and a resolution to getting controllers paid again as they now go 28 days without pay. You mentioned that first $0 paycheck they just received. No wonder that controllers are calling out sick in some areas. Remember, all it takes is a handful of controllers to call out sick and to lead to this outsized impact. And we have seen the staffing alerts pop up today.
If you have controllers call out from one airport, that fucks up airports and other places, because what if they was coming to this airport? You can't get to this airport because no one's controlling the air in that area.
The Federal Aviation Administration in places that there are typically not staffing problems. Newark is a place where there are typically staffing problems. That is on the list today, but Atlanta is now emerging as a trouble spot also.
So let's say New York, all the air traffic controllers in New York call off because they're sick, obviously. Now you got planes coming from Beijing, Moscow, right, Iran, and Turkey that can't get to New York.
Air traffic control facilities in Denver, the Denver Center, responsible for tens of thousands of square miles of airspace over sort of the flyover area of the country, if you'll pardon the pun. And then also the Denver Control Tower. That's a huge hub for United Airlines, and that will have a big impact as the day goes on. We will see, though, thankfully, The delays and cancellations for today remain relatively low. This is what controllers are doing. They're really sort of taking this literally into their own hands here at Reagan National Airport and about 20 airports across the country. They're handing out these pamphlets. You know, it's top of mind for travelers. Now they're forcing travelers to really learn about this. They're at the curbside zone at airports here at O'Hare, at LAX, at Miami, at Tampa, handing out these pamphlets, telling folks to call their representatives to end the government shutdown now. We will.
This is uproar of the people, right? This is the protests we're not seeing in the streets. The protests of the workers, the federal workers, and things like that, striking, by not coming to work, and handing out pamphlets and things like that. And all these things were mentioned towards the end, right? Second address 9. It says he answered second address 9:1. He answered me then and said, "Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time wherein the highest Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai will begin to visit the world which he made." It wasn't no Big Bang or anything like that. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, right? Through Yahushai, of course, not the Alahayim, right? The powers made everything you see. It says, "Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning." But because the prophets have been speaking these things from the beginning, right? It says, "For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, the end is manifest." So we're nearing the end, right, of this current kingdom, which is the last kingdom of the heathen nations, right? Which is every nation besides the nation of Israel, right? The Israelites, the true Israelites, the brown people, all right? It says, because you have those cosplayers over there in Israel now pretending to be the Jews, right? And they're being found out and being talked about because of all the atrocities they're committing around the world. And they're like, this, now they're saying this can't be the people. They're saying it to them, but he's still saying it can't be us either. But anyway, they'll see real soon. It says, "For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, the end is manifest." It says, "Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings, and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs." And mind you, the least know, right? That's why you have the Russia and Iran bringing out these Russian icons and the different dark images from the Byzantine Empire and all of that. That's our history. They know. They got the artifacts and all these different artifacts being uncovered, and found out. It's all about the Jakes. All of our history are being found out, because we're the salt of the earth. It matters, So says, "Even so the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs." And we're witnessing the effects and signs now in the last days pertaining to these prophecies regarding mournings, lamentations, and woe, right? Complete destruction and the collapse of this current empire. So a shalom to the whole elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.